Warning, incoming game over. Warning, incoming game over.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to a Monday night edition of Game Over. I can't hit the Sens button. The Sens play the Caps for the third time this season. For the third time, they head to overtime. This time
it was every time, wasn't it?
Not solved in overtime. As usual on the Caps episodes of Game Over. I'm joined by Sam, the biggest Caps fan in Australia. I think we keep saying like that and asking if that's the case for real.
I might be the physically largest Caps fan in Australia, but there might be someone down in Perth who's just like, got every OV jersey.
Well, that's the thing though. They will have to fight you for it if you have a size advantage.
Yeah, if we actually get to like hand-to-hand combat, I think I've got an advantage. Like ever since I shaved my head, I started thinking I'm tougher than I actually am.
Yeah, faster.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Also, welcome back to the show, Matt. Been a while. We've had a couple shows with the three of us, and I'm trying to keep it within a reasonable. Like I'm hoping to have this episode be a reasonable length. I think it's usually like an hour and a half when the three of us are on here together. We're gonna try to avoid that. It's a Monday. It's a school night. We got places.
Well,
to be.
you said to us, and I quote, I hate this shit team. I don't want to be around them anymore. Please send me to bed as soon as possible. We're going to do 15 minutes tops. And Matt and I went, yeah, no, that's okay. We can see you're hurting.
I thought it was a little mean, but I got the idea.
Yeah. But then we texted each other and said, like, this is going to be a 3-hour show.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I just won't sleep tonight. That's fine.
Yeah. I've got nothing to talk about either, by the way.
Nothing happened. We should talk a little bit about what happened. Sens Caps head to overtime. The Capitals win 5-4 in the shootout. Worth noting that the Sens were down 3-0 and they managed to scrape a point out of this one, which is, that's good. I'm trying to be more positive. It's been a while since I've been on since I've been on the show for a win. So
you were saying that like it's not very like them this season to come back into a game once they're out of it. Like they've had a lot of.
Well, that's not true. That's not true. They come close. No. They haven't actually. They don't typically tie the game. What happens is they look like shit for the first period and a half, 2 periods, and then show up in the third and get within 1 and then give up an empty net goal. This time they got the point, so we'll take it. And something to be said about tying the game with an empty net. That doesn't happen very often. So
that's exciting.
Yeah, it was an exciting
that got
game.
You going.
It's one of those. It's one of those. Objectively, if someone was watching this game and they were trying to decide whether they want to get into hockey or not, like if it's just like an impartial person watching this game, they'd be like, "This was a good game."
It was a good game.
Objectively, I think it was a really fun game.
I believe at one point I said this phrase, and I still think I'm right. The Ottawa Senators are not like this game. They suck, and the scores just somehow ticked up. It was an even game only on the scoreboard, and I don't super know how it happened because the Sens were not playing well.
No, they were getting outplayed for most of it, especially early on.
Yeah, specifically 5-on-5, it was not close. Let's see, how was it in all situations? It was a bit more even when you look at it all situations, but 5-on-5, the Caps had 60% of high danger chances, had 60% of the expected goals, had nearly 70% of the shots 5-on-5. So a big reason why the Sens were in it is because they went 2 for 7 on the power play.
Yeah, 7 power plays will do that for you.
Yeah, that helps.
They still lost in the shots. They still had fewer shots.
However, the Sens outshot the Caps after the first period.
Having said that, though, I don't know how well the Caps played either. The Caps, actually, no, I'm wrong. The Caps played very well, and I've just contrasted in my head between how well the Caps played and how well Logan Thompson played, because the Caps were very good, but Thompson was like on another, even after letting 4 in, somehow on another fucking level.
Well,
which is so weird. Like the Sens somehow played poorly and got 4 goals, and Logan Thompson played incredibly against a team playing poorly who also scored 4 goals. So it was an interesting game to watch.
I mean, he definitely kept them in overtime in the shootout. Like the amount of glove saves late was
it was amazing.
They kept going that side, or the Sens kept shooting on the glove side in the shootout too.
Yeah,
which was
a choice.
I don't know what you were thinking. You don't challenge a hot goalie like that. That first one where he just went down and then like swooped it out of the air like a fucking Batman villain. Like, oh man, I don't even know what to say. I was just like, you heard the noise I made that happen.
I know what to say, Sam.
He knows what to
and
say.
What I have to say is, hey folks watching at home, I think you should probably shift into hyperdrive and get ready to have some fun with your new source for all the biggest stories in hockey, bringing a unique style of broadcasting and commentary with a Quebecois flavor. Hyperdrive Hockey combines top-tier hockey analysis, big stories, pop culture, and a damn fun atmosphere that will drive debate, make you think, and more. Join Max, Daphne, and Kev every Monday and Thursday. Soon, again, they've been on a bit of a hiatus right now. It should be coming back very soon on for your fill of the hockey world. Watch on YouTube on the Game Over Network channel, or subscribe to the podcast on Apple, Spotify, or Amazon. Head to our website, thegameovernetwork.com, for more. Now, was that smooth, or did that feel kind of like forced in?
No, incredible transition.
Thank you. Okay, perfect. Sorry. Continue on with your Batman, Logan Thompson. Who's if Logan Thompson's Batman, who's Robin?
Does it have to be another goaltender?
I don't think so.
I mean, like, because of this, I mean, it has to be Charlie Lindgren then, who actually just re-signed at Robin money. So,
so did Logan Thompson extend to Batman money?
No, he extended at Nightwing money.
Yeah, I was gonna say that wasn't Batman money.
Yeah, like honestly, I'm wilded out that we managed to keep both of them, because I feel like they both easily could have gotten a lot more on other teams. So it's nice to see. I think Logan Thompson's in there for 5 years. Charlie at 3. I might have to check that. But yeah,
wasn't Thompson 5 at 4.5?
I think it was a 5 and 5. I'll look it up.
I don't remember it off the top of my head.
I'll just go to capfriendly.com.
Yeah, while you look that, let's talk about this game. So, first period, Connor McMichael scores very early. Actually, what's the actual timing on that one? I should probably double check that, just to be able to give an actual number. At a minute 41.
Say immediately. It felt immediately.
Yeah, a minute 41 into the game, Connor McMichael scores. Weird goal, kind of side of the net. Puck's bouncing around. No one can quite swat at it. McMichael finds a way to get it in. Ottawa challenges for goalie interference. No good. So they still stay down 1-0 and go to the PK. Then the Caps take a penalty, so it's 4-on-4. It doesn't really matter though, because then the Caps score while it's 4-on-4, and they take a 2-0 lead. That one, unfortunately, you can pretty clearly point the finger on Batherson. Just completely lost his guy. Dubois was all alone. Had no idea where Dubois was. Not a good job defending there from Batherson. So it's 2-0 heading into the second period. The first period, like, it didn't get worse after it was 2-0. I believe the shots were like 7-1 for the Caps at one point. The final shot count for the first period was 19-11 for the Caps. So the Sens do more or less even it out through the rest of the period, but not really looking good enough to make it feel like there's a ton of hope after that start. And then second period, sort of rough start as well. Not super early, but about 7 minutes in, Tom Wilson scores on the power play. My note next to that is Sens PK fucking sucks, because they've been running the diamond formation all season long, and it hasn't worked for any extended like period of time, and there are just no adjustments being made to the PK. I'm not sure what the current what the stats are as far as like where they land in the league. Sorry if my keyboard's making click clacky noises coming through. Let's see. The Sens PK is, let's find out, because I can't imagine it's very good. The Sens PK is 19th, which is not what you want on a hopeful playoff team. And they just haven't been.
How
making
close
any
are you
adjustments.
guys? Are you guys still in a wild card position, or is that ship kind of sailed?
I think we're
They
just
are
outside
not.
one right
No,
now.
the Sens are not in a wild card. It's very
I think
close.
they're a
We'll take a
point-
quick like look at that later on in the show.
I
Take a look.
checked right after the game. I think they were a point back of Detroit and Columbus. I want to say. I think they were at
Yeah.
65. Those teams were at 66.
Yeah.
I didn't
believe.
check the games in hand though.
Yeah, they have. It's still a super tight race. On the upside, the Sens do have a top 10 power play, and like the defense is pretty okay. Like overall for goals against, the Sens have been pretty darn good. It's just that PK is absolutely brutal.
I do think there is a serious problem with defense on the forward side of things. Like your back end's actually fine. I don't think you need to change anything there. It's
Maybe
there's
one
an
change.
attitude. Yeah. Okay. So there is a change there to be made, which I'll let you go into. But the forward core, they need to help out their back end a lot more than what they've been doing. I think they just have this score mentality,
which is interesting,
but they don't
usually
reload themselves properly. Exactly, yeah. And I genuinely think it's because they don't know how to correctly reload themselves. They just kind of go like buzzards, and they're not really. They're not taking. They should actually go a little bit slower, take some more time, and just space themselves out better. Because that's they just open up so many pathways to counterattack.
Sam, did you get that contract info, by the way?
Yeah, I do. But reading is really difficult. So Charlie Lindgren just signed to a 3-year, $9 million contract. So that's like 3 for 3 essentially. And then Logan Thompson, he signed for 6 years at $5.85 million. So 5.85, 3 million, 9 million for both goalies.
I don't know where
like
I
they're
had 4.5 in my head. That's nowhere close.
It's not exactly team friendly. It's very close to. I call it team friendly because
what was the year? You said 6 years, right?
6 years.
So till he's 34, and that's not that much money, man, for a starter. I think that's probably, at least for now, team friendly,
right? I especially when he could have gotten so much more anywhere else,
and the salary cap going up like crazy the next few years.
Yeah, it's just like I think the Caps have got like 20 million in cap space next season.
Really?
And everyone was really worried. Like, how are we going to sign? Like, we've got all these free agents like Mangiapane, Radish, Nick Dowd, Jacob Chikrin. I think Radish stays. Nick Dowd will stay, or I will leave a mess somewhere, and the mess will be my body, as it has dropped from a 17th story building. I love Nick Dowd. This is it's not a joke. This is a threat. If you don't re-sign him, I'm going to do something horrible to myself. And then Jacob Chikrin, who was like the big if, because we were really worried, like, how are we going to re-sign Lindgren and Logan Thompson? They're both playing at a really high level this season. How are we going to afford them and Chikrin? And it turns out it's not a problem. So it's so. You were saying to me before about how I have like white privilege for hockey fans. I feel like this is just so much more of it, you know? Like, if you don't like adversity, If you think setbacks aren't fun, be a Washington Capitals fan.
It's the way to do
Because
it.
I had one bad season and then immediately back to the top of the league.
Yeah, and your bad season, you still got to watch the team make the playoffs. They didn't belong there, but they still got in. But that's okay.
That's what the white privilege is.
But now Matt and I are going to do a bunch of talking because at this point of the game, it goes all Sens for a little while. So to catch everybody up here, partway through the second, after Tom Wilson scores, and I'm ragging on the PK, it's 3-0 Washington. It feels like I told the guys, I was like, if this is the part of the game where I just like start doing something else and kind of have the game on in the background because I'm sick of watching it. Shane Pinto stays hot. It's his second goal in as many games since coming back from his injury. 3-1. Cool. The Sens are kind of in it to end the second period. Heading into the third period, the Sens have a power play, and I think I said like a quick goal would be fun because then they're back in it. Our boy Claude Giroux hears me, scores on the power play. The power play is finally looking like it's going to click a little bit. 3-2. All of a sudden, it's a close game. And fun fact on this one, Tim Stützle gets an assist on that goal, extends his point streak to 12 games, and sets a new franchise record: 11 straight games with an assist. So,
I didn't know that was a record. That's pretty cool. Good for you, Timmy.
They also showed a graphic on the broadcast of Claude Giroux moving up to I want to say it was 65th or 66th all time and like all time scoring.
That's awesome.
Game, which is, I mean, it makes sense. I just never thought he was that high on it, but I mean, obviously he's been tremendous forever. So,
yeah, we were talking about like we can talk about this a little bit later because we can touch on the fact that Ovechkin did not score because one of the segments for tonight's show, I want to talk about the predictions that Sam and I made for when Ovi's going to break the record. So we'll talk about that later. But just on the subject of like longevity and just like someone who's been so good for so long, whether or not he wins the cup, I feel like Giroux has to be a Hall of Famer. Just like given his track record,
unarguably.
It's a shame that the only time he made it to the final was 2010, so early on in his career. But
there's still this year.
There's still this year. Next year, if he resigns with the Sens, if he doesn't resign with the Sens, he won't make it to the Cup final. We'll
tell you what, though, we'll
unparalleled
trade
success.
Yeah, we'll give you Lars Eller for Claude Giroux, and he can get his go into another Cup final.
No, that's okay. That's okay. I don't like Giroux.
So you don't care. You don't care all that much about him.
I don't like Giroux personally enough to let him go. No. I will be selfish and make him stay in his like Ottawa's like a pseudo hometown for him. His family moved to the area when he was a teenager. Like
you're saying you don't want to see Lars Eller succeed then? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, that's interesting actually.
He might be I'm
saying I don't want Lars Eller to succeed because I don't want him to come to Ottawa. So
okay, speaking of Claude Giroux and also of Capitals and of getting traded, I know this is so far away from the game, but we need to hit the 3-hour mark. Do you think they should trade Sidney Crosby?
Are we talking about the Penguins now?
Yeah, we are.
Can I finish talking about this game?
Okay, I'll come back to it. I'm gonna make a note of it so we come back. I was like,
guys, we can't go a long show. It's 20 minutes. I haven't finished talking about the game. All right, after Giroux scores, Shane Pinto remains hot still, all caps. Not in this case because the Caps didn't score, the Sens did. But I mean, all caps for Shane Pinto. Anyway, whatever. He ties the game. Michael Amadio with a nice pass, heads on down, bounces off Shane Pinto's foot, hits Lars Eller's stick, and it's a tie game if you can believe it. Lars
and you
Eller.
say you don't want Lars Eller, and he scores a goal for you this game.
You say you don't want Lars Eller, but he would be falling right in the footsteps of other Danish Sens legends,
such as
I forgot his Michael Bodker,
Alfred Alfredson.
Where's Bodker from?
I'm pretty sure Bodker is Danish. I'm pretty sure.
I'll have to double check.
I'm gonna Google this.
Anyway, it's a tie game. It's a brand new game, and we're all going, oh boy, here we go. And then I say, here's where Ovi scores. It wasn't Ovi. But the Caps do take the lead later on in the third period. The Sens, I guess, I mean, if we're going to point out one person, Norris specifically, with an absolutely brutal change. Tom Wilson's carrying the puck into the offensive zone, and Norris is behind him and goes, I'll go off. I mean, like, okay, like they're probably gassed, right? Like Norris and the rest of the forwards on the ice are probably really are fucking dead tired. But man, you get off the ice and the Caps have such a clear 4-on-2. Brutal. I'll say it one more time, brutal line change there. And Faravari scores. Caps lead 4-3 with 7 minutes to go.
In all defense, the line change was bad,
Brutal.
but Tom Wilson had a pretty cool deke, and that passing play they set up, I don't know if the line change was better, how much they would have stopped that, because that play that they'd set up there was pretty phenomenal. It was sexy.
I will argue a sweet passing play on a 4-on-2 is a lot easier than a 4-on-4 or even a 4-on-5. Had they not done that,
we can play semantics all day, because what if
what if they did do that on a 4-on-5? How are we to know?
Exactly.
All right.
What if the extra three are like behind the net?
You got me there. You got me.
They're in the zone, you know.
Anyway,
speaking of Claude Giroux and Tom Wilson, though, they almost got into a punch on.
Everyone does with Tom Wilson.
Tom Wilson hasn't actually been fighting like this season. I think that's like his second or third fight.
Tom Wilson and Brady Tkachuk dropped the gloves in this one. I forgot to mention that.
He wanted Giroux. Giroux gave a bit of a late hit to him. Might have been a penalty. I'd have to watch it again. And Tom Wilson goes over to him. Is like, "Hey, you're not allowed to do that. That's against the rules. We need to have a discussion about this." And then Brady Tkachuk comes in. Hey, that's my captain you're speaking to. I'm going to take this to a violent place. Oh, is he? I keep forgetting. Claude Giroux was the captain, and then it became Tkachuk, or am I?
No, it's just because
okay.
Giroux showed up after
was the
Tkachuk
captain.
was the
That's the man that should have been the captain you're speaking to. I'm going to take this to a violent place. And Tom Wilson was like, No. We're just having a polite discussion. You don't need to do this every day, Brady.
As
this
Tom
is
Wilson
not on.
does.
Yeah.
And then Tom Wilson's a de-escalator, is what I've always said.
Yeah. He's like, let's just all take a deep, rejuvenating breath. And Brady Tkachuk's, no, we're going to fight right now. And if we draw, we're going to let you win in overtime. And Tom Wilson's like, no, guys, let's just play the game. No. We fight. And it's going to be a little bit boring. And you're going to get one good punch on me. I'm going to get one good punch on you. Otherwise, completely uninteresting and a waste of time. And that's I just described the fight in its entirety. Was not in. Okay. It let Tom Wilson have the Gordie Howe hat trick, but that's it. It was honestly kind of more hugging with the occasional swat, like two cats on ice.
No argument here.
Yeah, no, that's pretty much. Yeah,
cats on ice.
I don't know about the whole like Tom Wilson not being mad at people, because you could see him. I'm assuming screaming at Jake Sanderson from the bench later on. But
I went back to read those lips, and he was saying like, Jake Sanderson, I good job. You're a great hockey player, and I respect you.
It's loud in the arena. You have to.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
Fuck. I mean, just the way Matt and I were at the Sens Sharks game on Saturday, and I felt like I was losing my voice by the end of it, and he was sitting right next to me. So.
Yeah,
you got me there.
And we weren't even player coaching.
Yeah, it's true. 4-3 Caps fairly late in the third, and the Sens do the impossible. They tie the game with an empty net. The Sens never do that. If you ever see the Sens score with an empty net, it's typically to turn that 2-goal deficit into 1, which is very tough to watch. It was also on the power play, 6-on-4, which was pretty dope, pretty cool.
You were so pumped for it. I was so happy to see you. Like, you were looking so excited and so happy. It made me feel really good.
Yeah,
it was very infectious.
I don't think you'd be saying that if the shootout ended differently, but I appreciate that.
No, Charlie, I love your joy in all its contexts.
That's pretty sweet. That's very nice of you.
I was watching about 40 seconds ahead of you guys, and I had to be like, I was like,
you did a great job of staying quiet. I gotta say,
thank you.
Did not expect it at all.
I was not sure if you heard. I was shaking like this. I was like, they're gonna hear it. They're gonna hear it. They're gonna hear it. They're gonna know some shit's up.
One of the funny things was like every time the Sens scored, like we were joking before about the Sens only score when Charlie's complaining about them, and then
well, it happened at the Sharks game on Saturday.
It happened like twice tonight.
Yeah, like literally
There's
twice. And the
about
first
it.
time, the first time it happened. Sorry, it was the second time you complained about them, and then they scored in our purview. The first time you complained about them, and they didn't score, and we were like, "Oh, okay." So there's not really a curse, but they did score 40 seconds ahead in the future. Like you complained, and Matt saw them score, and then had to wait for us to see it.
God, I guess you're right. Yeah, holy shit.
You played so hard, you gave me the vision.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Oh God. Yeah. Also,
So
Brady
I think the
Tkachuk
reason
now
the
with-
Sens aren't good this season because you're too optimistic, Charlie.
That's the problem. That's the
Yeah.
problem. I've just been having too much fun watching sports.
You've been too go Sens go today.
So yeah, it's been too much of my day is based around the Sens. They go to the shootout because overtime solves nothing. I mean, like overtime. I don't want to talk about overtime because the Sens had a power play and they didn't score and they didn't get any like really good looks. Like they got a
The
couple
Caps
good
put
looks.
Ovi in the box too.
Oh yeah,
might I
'cause,
add.
like he wouldn't be on the ice.
Well, he would and he was.
He was last
He
time.
got out.
Yeah, well no, he wouldn't. No, he wouldn't be on the ice on the PK. But also the other smart thing about that is you find him when he steps out, and then Ovi has a breakaway. And then it's a smart move. Honestly, I'm fully on board with it. It's the same way whenever the Sens take a too many men penalty, they stick Brady in the box because Kachuk's not killing penalties.
Yeah.
But then he
Let him,
steps
like,
out and you find him
let
and
him
you're like,
spread
oh
out.
cool, Kachuk had a breakaway. That's pretty cool. Shootout. I don't know. Like we've been watching
was
shootouts for
perfect.
20 years now. Like it was a lot of fun back in the day. I remember watching the first shootout where actually, can either of you name the first NHL player to score a shootout goal?
Oh yeah, Tommy Shootout.
Yeah, inventor of the shootout.
Yeah. From Saskatoon.
Fun
shootout
fact,
king.
it's Daniel Alfredson.
Was it really?
Oh, noted
Because the
Danish
shootout
Ottawa
was brought
Senators
in
player.
post
yeah,
cap
Danish
era, right?
Alfredson.
0506. And the opening night of the season, Sens Leafs. And remember when the Sens used to get the primetime opening night?
No.
Because now the Sens are the only Canadian team that doesn't play a Canadian team to start the season. It's pretty cool. They're the odd one out every single time. Because now it's always Habs and Leafs. But back then it was pretty cool. Anyway, shootouts, like I don't know, shootouts were so cool when I was a kid because like they didn't happen and like the only time I ever saw them was like in the NHL like video games. I don't know, like it's a good way to end the game quickly, but also like I love 3-on-3 overtime so much that I'm always just like bummed when a shootout happens.
But remember that Tom Pyatt scored against the Leafs in the shootout?
I don't.
We were at a Boston Pizza. They put on it was a Guy Boucher. They put on Tom Pyatt, and we were like, "That's a hater move," and then he scored.
This must have been like round 8 or something of the shootout.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm sorry that I don't remember that. That sounds like a great time.
Yeah, core memory for me.
It's actually a core memory of mine. Going to
Core memory
Boston
of his
Pizza with you two for the first time and just being astounded about the history of that chain. That's a weird place and I love it.
I don't even remember what
Yes,
we
it
were
is.
watching. Like we must have gone to watch a game.
Did we?
I think we were just hanging out. I remember having a couple of beers. I thought the whole waiting to get a table thing was very alien to me, though.
Well,
Either
we
we had
started
to wait,
somewhere
like-
else. We started the other place across the parking lot, and just no one came to our table for like 20 minutes, and we were like, let's go to Boston Pizza.
Was I there for that? I don't remember that.
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah,
I must have been, but I don't remember. I remember going to Lone Star.
Oh, I remember. Yeah, Lone Star before the game, before the Sens Caps game, and our waiter had didn't he have an OV phone case?
Something like, or was it a phone background?
There was something about OV in the Caps.
I think he had a phone case with Ovechkin on it. Anyway,
I remember meeting someone in the bathroom there that was also a Caps fan. So there was a lot in the area at the time.
Yeah, all the Caps fans going to Lone Star before the Sens Caps game checks out. So Sens go 0 for in the shootout. Caps go 1 for not Ryan Strome. That's the wrong Strome. Dylan Strome. Ryan Strome plays for the Ducks for some reason.
I predicted every shot perfectly, by the way. I remember, like, number one, I straight up said, PLD isn't going to score here. Doesn't score. Who was next? It was someone weird.
On the Caps or on the Sens?
On the Caps. Hang on, I'll look it up quickly. Because no, it was Strome next. It was Dubois. Yeah, Dubois. It didn't score. Then Batherson, he didn't score. Stutzler. I was like, I don't think he's gonna. And then he did not gonna. And then Strome came in, and I said, I reckon Strome's gonna get it. And then he got it.
Well, we were talking about this. Like the Sens players both went glove side, and Thompson's glove side had been just unbeatable throughout overtime and most of the game. And then the first two, almost. Yeah, and the first two Sens shooters both go glove side.
It was not the move to make.
It wasn't.
Yeah, it really wasn't. One thing I do want to touch on before we stop talking about this game and move on to just taking a look at the playoff picture is the general like feeling of, actually, if I refresh this, is it going to be updated? Not yet, but the general thought process of everyone saying that Linus Ullmark needs to be better, because they showed the graphic at the beginning of the game, basically saying through February and March so far, Ullmark has an .897 save percentage, and that is technically true. He had one brutal game against Montreal. He gave up 5 goals on 15 shots. Like, no one's going to say that isn't a problem. But the rest of his games that he's played through February and March, 919, 915, 921, 919. If you're looking at this team and saying Ullmark's the problem,
he's not.
What are you watching? What the fuck are you watching? And even tonight's the goals he gave up, and that's tonight, he wasn't bad tonight either. He gave up 4 goals on 41 shots, and he had no fucking help on most of them. Like, he still had an over 900
they weren't soft
save
goals
percentage.
either.
No, like the first one was a little funky, like McMichael's goal where the puck was just kind of bouncing next to the net. Like, could Ullmark have maybe tried to dive on top of it instead of like going for the stick? Maybe. Like, that's the only one I'll be like, hey, Ullmark maybe could have had that. But like the Dubois goal, he was left alone. Batherson completely lost him. Wilson, the fucking diamond on the PK. Like, I'm not putting that on Ullmark at all. He had no help on that one. The Faravari goal, that was a 4-on-2. I'm not putting that on the fucking goalie. No way.
And a pretty incredible play too. Like, yeah, Fev came out of
it was a good play. So like, no, Linus Ullmark is not the fucking problem. And TSN putting up, he's had an 897 in the month of February and March. Leading into this game, he's only had 1 game so far with below a 915 out of his starts in February and March. Like, shut up. He had one. He hasn't played much.
898 is not that bad in the modern NHL, anyways.
It's slightly below like league average, and like
slightly.
Yeah, you need an above average goalie to make the playoffs most of the time. But it's like, how do you look at his? Because like the thing is too, right? Like, because there's the 4 Nations and he was hurt for a while. But like, how do you look at his last 5 games being 919, 915, 667, 921, 919, and be like, Ullmark's the problem? He had 1 stinker of a game, and other than that, he's been elite. Like, tonight's game, he wasn't elite, but like 3 goals.
He was good though.
Three of the 4 goals he allowed, everybody in the league would give those up.
Yeah.
Like,
No, I agree with
outside
that,
of like
100%.
I'd be like, maybe Hellebuck stops that, but like that's really it. Like prime Carey Price, you know, like these are not goals that you can stick on anyone that's in net.
And you look at those goals too, and like I was saying before, that it's a problem with the defensive capabilities of the forward core. I don't know how many of those goals you actually put on the D as well, because I don't know how much they were actually like you talk about that bad change. The 2 people actually defending it were the D. You know, like that was the forwards blowing it. On the McMichael goal, like they got moved out, but they had to. You know, they were left in that position. I really think like it's guys like Claude Giroux and crap, what's his name? Brady Tkachuk, who really need to step up the defensive parts of their game. And I'm not saying they're horrible at it, but like they're role models on the team, you know? Like
I mean, you can say Tkachuk's not
be
very
the
good
change
defensively because he's not. He really isn't. And that's fine. Like I don't need every single player on my favorite team to be a 2-way star or anything. But there's just so many black holes defensively on I
think Claude Giroux gets a little bit of a pass, but Brady Tkachuk, I think if you want to be a power forward, defense has to be a big part of your game.
We'll see. We'll see if he wants to do that going forward. I mean, I don't know. Like it's just I don't know, because like it's weird because like it doesn't feel like this has been an issue for the team a lot. Overall goals allowed through this season, the Sens have been pretty damn good. The issue is scoring, and it just happens that tonight they scored 4 goals and just couldn't help their goalie. So it was a weird one. Not like it's never happened this season, but it's not the typical outcome that we've been seeing for majority of the season, as far as like just ability to put the puck in the net versus keeping it out based on who's anyway. I just wanted to talk about Linus Ullmark a little bit there. Let's head into a quick look at the playoff picture, because with that point tonight, a tough one to you know, based on the standings, it'd be nice if they got 2, but we'll settle for 1 against the top team in the East.
The Caps are very generous like that.
Yeah, the Sens, you know what? Like it's not perfect, but the Sens getting 4 points out of 3 games against the Caps, it could be worse. It could be worse. An OT loss, an OT win, and a shootout loss. It could be worse. And
we don't play in regulation in Ottawa, do we?
No. We're way too far into the season for me to be like, oh, that was a decent loser point. But like, the fact of the matter is, that's the best team in the East right now. It's fine. You're down 3-0. I'll take a point. Context in there, I'll take a point. But before we get to the playoff picture real quick, let's talk about Patreon. If you're looking for ways to help an upstart media company employing over 30 young journalists and analysts across Canada, if you got a few spare bucks kicking around, you can head to our Patreon page at patreon.com/thegameovernetwork. There you'll find multiple tiers featuring different rewards and goodies for helping us grow. There's extra access, exclusive looks behind the scenes, Discord benefits, merch discounts, opportunities to give us feedback, and you can join us for special shows live, where you can interact with hosts as we launch more ways to improve your experience. If you're unable to spare a few dollars, we have a free tier available so you don't miss out. And if you really want to help us, make sure to click the like and subscribe buttons on YouTube, rate us 5 stars on your favorite podcast app, and share our work on your social media of choice. It's patreon.com/thegameovernetwork for tantalizing goodies. Let's head on over to the next section here. Let's look at that playoff picture, because God.
The next section, as you all know, is Chris DiDomenico watch.
Yeah.
He's powering through. He's got 40 and 35 in the Swiss League, second only to Dominik Kubalik's other Sens legend. Ambry Piotta's making a push. They're 10th right now in the play-in slot, so it's all looking good from Chris DiDomenico. Go to my Patreon.
Okay, so bad news. The New York Rangers have finally leapfrogged the Sens. The Rangers are coming back. They have won 7 of their last 10. So the Rangers currently, currently the wild card looks like this. Blue Jackets in first with 68 points, then the Red Wings with 66, and then you've got the Sens at 65. So Columbus, Detroit, and Ottawa have all played 60 games. The Rangers have 66 points, but have played 61 games. So the Sens are 1 point back in New York with the game in hand. But the main thing is here that, the main teams they have to deal with are Columbus, Detroit, New York, Montreal, and Boston. And
not unmanageable.
And they play, I believe they still have games against every single one of those teams. So making the playoffs, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending how you look at it, is completely in their own hands. If you can beat these teams that are around you in the standings, you gotta be able to do it to make the playoffs.
Just out of interest, how are the Caps doing? What do we have? Do you think we're making the playoffs this year?
It's gonna be tight.
You could use it. You could use a Dominic Kubalek.
You could use you could use a Travis Hamonic, if I'm being honest.
You could use a real like a first line sniper like Travis Hamonic.
Whereabouts on the ladder are we?
I closed the page, so I don't know.
We don't. It's never know.
Open it.
I'll have to look into that later on.
No, do it now, Charlie. You see my arm raising? I have a bit prepared.
Well, it's not in the screen.
But it's gonna be.
Oh, okay. So
You're making me do a Roman salute here. Hurry up.
Okay, how do I say this? That they're first in the East?
Woo!
What was that?
That's a balloon.
Oh, okay. Okay, all right.
It's a celebratory balloon coming down.
That's beautiful.
Like when at a party when the balloons all come down because your team's.
I'm so glad
when the balloon comes down at the party.
I'm so
single
glad.
Balloon.
Yeah. I'm so glad you're enjoying this hockey season so much and have zero stress about it all.
I'm not zero stress. Ovi broke his leg once.
I will say
he wasn't
though,
going to come back and score as well. He did, but still.
I do have to say as well, given the outlook of the East, if the Sens do get in there and are the second wild card spot, out of anyone they've played this season, some of their better results are against Washington. So if Washington's the number 1 team playing the second seed wild card,
and we have a first round exit to the Sens, that'd be so. I wouldn't even be mad. That'd be fucking funny,
dude. Even if the Caps beat the Sens in 5 and like 3 games went to overtime, I'd feel okay. I'd feel good. I'd feel solid about it. But that's really it for the playoff look, because like I don't want to get too deep into it, because that's the thing. Like this is gonna change every day. The Sens,
it's close. It's close. They're in the mix.
It is so close. The Sens do play the Rangers. Out of the teams we're talking about, the next time they play one of those teams, it's the Rangers on Saturday. Their next game is against the Blackhawks, so it's not really going to have a whole lot to do with this current playoff picture. It's 2 points they absolutely need. They got to beat the Blackhawks on Wednesday, but after that, it's the Rangers on Saturday. Then the Red Wings on Monday, the Flyers on Tuesday. They're not really in the picture, but then it's Boston on Thursday. So 3 out of 4 games after the Chicago game. So as of next week, when you start the Saturday New York game, 3 of those next 4 games are against teams immediately around them in the playoff picture, fighting for a playoff spot. So I'm
counting out the Flyers and the Rangers, though. I don't think they've got the stuff this year.
We'll see.
I think they're fakers.
By mid-March with those games, it's going to be a lot clearer what's going on, I think.
Does it kind of feel like the Capitals stole the soul of the Rangers, or is that maybe just me right now? Because it kind of just feels like
revenge for getting absolutely fucking
I don't know,
swept.
revenge, just like a thing that happened.
I remember I made a joke last time on here that the reason the Caps had to make the playoffs was because they had the magic basketball from Space Jam. and they stole all of the talent from the New York Rangers and then shared it around.
But how does that work though? Because the Rangers weren't like that.
Well, if you watch
bad
the
after
film,
Well, okay, they explain it in the film, Charlie.
Well, no, because here's what I'm saying, right? Like, so if the Caps stole the Rangers' powers after they got swept by the Rangers, wouldn't that have affected the Rangers immediately? Because the Rangers weren't like that bad after the first round last year.
Puck luck.
Or is it just like a summer thing? It's like they had access to it and they took it in the summer. We could just say that.
Yeah. No, you know what the honest answer is? Peter, nobody likes Peter Laviolette. I don't think he's a nice man. I have never met him. Maybe off the ice he's lovely. On the ice, I think he's a, you know what? He's like a bully in a 90s movie where like he gets results by scaring everybody. And then there's a moment in every season where the little guy on the team stands up and goes, "You know what, Mr. Laviolette? I'm not afraid of you anymore." And the whole team goes, "Me neither." And they all like at the end of Ants, and they all rush him, and then he has lost them for the rest of his tenure there. That's a moment that happens every single time. They go, "This guy's a dick. I don't like him. I don't want to play his crappy systems anymore." They do, and he just loses the room, and it's happened everywhere he's ever gone. So like if like. It wasn't a shock to me that the New York Rangers were good for one season and then tanked, because it'd be like being shocked at the sun rising.
They've been a genuine like threat for quite a while leading up to this
under
season.
Laviolette.
Yeah, okay, all right.
It's very specifically him. I wasn't shocked. Like I knew as soon as he got him, I'm like, all right, they're making the playoffs, but never again.
All right. Well, you know who doesn't lose a room? That's Ovi. That's Ovi. We're gonna talk about him in a second, right after I talk to the viewers directly again. If you're enjoying the show so far, you probably want more of this, right? Well, sorry, Sam and Matt unfortunately are not Game Over employees, and this is the last Sens Caps game. So, Sam, I don't know if
until the playoffs.
Back on. Yeah,
until the playoffs.
That's the thing.
Yeah,
if it's Sens Caps in the first round, I don't know if we'll want to bring on any guests. The hosts here in Ottawa might just like be selfish and want to take up the slots ourselves every single night, but we'll see how it goes. Make sure you hit the like button on this video, click subscribe on our channel, and make sure you click the notification bell so you're alerted when we go live. If you're listening to our podcast, please give us a 5-star rating or even write a positive review. Talk about how much you love listening to Sam's accent or something. It's probably not about me. If it's a positive review. If you really like us, make sure to follow us on your favorite social media platforms. You can find the Game Over Network on Blue Sky at thegameovernetwork.com, on TikTok and Twitter at Game Over NHL, and Instagram, Threads, and LinkedIn at Game Over Network. Then you can also find the Game Over at thegameovernetwork.com. You can sign up for our upcoming newsletter, which I believe the first volume of went out, which is pretty sweet. Okay, let's talk about Ovechkin. No one's talking about Alex Ovechkin, so I think it's up to us.
Have you heard the news? There's a guy.
I think it's up to us to talk about
who is that
this.
guy? Where?
Oh, tangled. He's tangled.
Oh, I don't know who that is.
He's knocked over his mic.
So,
sorry about the loud noise there.
Oh my god.
I think I'm just going to do what Matt's doing and just hold it like this.
All right.
Is it making horrible?
It's awful.
Yes.
It's brutal. Put that thing down.
I'm so sorry.
Put that thing down.
Put that thing back where it came from. Also,
a few episodes ago, after the first matchup between the Sens and Caps, Sam and I made our guesses as to when Ovechkin would break the goal record. He did not score 10 goals tonight, unfortunately. So
no.
Almost.
So it's still 10, right? It's 894 to 884 currently.
Yeah, he's still got 10 to go.
All right.
Is it 10 to tie, 11 to pass?
Yeah, is it 10 to tie or 10 to break?
I should know this. I think it's 10 to break.
10 to break. Okay. So our guesses were, I'll just confirm. No, it's 10 to. I don't know. Anyway,
Math is hard.
Ty is in the chat. I'm sure if Ty's still here, he'll let us know. Ty's our stats guy who basically puts me in my place whenever I'm very off. Here are our guesses. Sam said March 13th against the LA Kings. I said April 4th against Chicago. And Ty said, I want to say Ty said late March. Am I remembering that correctly, Ty? If you're still here, I feel like I remember.
27th, I think.
I feel like I remember Ty said late March. Either way, somewhere. It's looking okay for me. I'm still feeling pretty good about my prediction. We'll have to see though.
You would, because it's a safe bet, but the safe bets are very rarely, like the closer it gets to it, you don't know what's going to happen. He got a hat trick the other day.
Ovechkin getting a hat trick? That doesn't sound like him.
I'm no gambler, but I would say maybe the safer bets are more safe. Maybe that's just me.
Yeah. So
the safe bets never succeed.
Sam's got 5 games until his guess, and I have.
It may have been a little bit early, but still, for a guy like Ovechkin, who for the start of the season was regularly scoring 2-goal games, got a hat trick a little while ago, he can I genuinely believe it's possible. He only scores in 3 more games and still breaks the record.
Yeah, I have 15 games until my guess, which still 10 goals in 15 games is still you're on a heater.
Like here's the thing though, of who's more right. If it takes him, so I've got 5 games left.
Yeah,
and you've got 15 games left.
Yeah,
if he breaks the record at 9 games, who's more right?
Me, because Price is Right rules.
I don't know about that.
If neither of you are right, if neither of you are right, it could be me.
Have you made a bet yet?
I think Ty's guess is 12 games from now, if I'm doing my math correctly. The game against Buffalo.
So we'd have to give it to Ty, I think.
Yeah. So Ovi is 10 away from tying. It's 11 from getting it.
I think he's going to do it. I think he can do it.
11 goals in 5 games to do it would be pretty sick.
Yeah, hell of a way to go.
And an absolute Ovi thing to do as well.
Just absolutely turn it on. So we'll see how that all goes. We'll see who's closer. Little fun side thing going on here. We both bet $0, and we'll just have a
loser
nice
shaves
handshake.
His head.
Oh. Oh, I got so much more to lose, man.
Okay, no, hold on. What about loser shaves Sam's head?
Well, you'd have to shave my beard as well, and I'm actually worried about losing that.
Can we shave that and your eyebrows and just get you NoHo Hank from Barry?
Yeah, I think for the Game Over Ottawa stream, we'll live shave my entire body.
Well, dude, you know what?
Tip to tape, everything.
Think of how fast you'll be. You'll be the fastest man alive.
Between your neck and your toes, we could probably move that to your head. Like, if we got enough tape.
But between my head from my toes, there is enough hair on my body to fill a beanbag chair.
Are you happy you came on the show, Matt?
I don't think you know what beanbag chairs are filled with. I think it's in the name, and you don't know that.
You can fill them with whatever you want.
I don't think that's true.
I'm using it as a unit of measurement. It's the size of it.
It's a volume.
The volume. Yeah, exactly. Charlie gets it. But
just the common basis of math, the beanbag chair.
You go over to Sam's apartment. He's like, "Oh yeah, feel free to either sit on the couch or the chest hair bag." The what?
Sorry, it's exactly one beanbag. You should know.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? You shave my body, you curl up all my hairs into little beads, then you fill it up.
I
It
won't
would
be.
work.
I think you'd
No,
have
Matt,
to put
you
that
have
in.
to
Like
do
you
it
have to wrap.
personally.
I think you need the bean bag to go within like a hazmat bag at that point.
No, my hair is actually
compostable.
quite soft and luxurious. There's quite a high market price for it, actually.
Sorry, my mistake.
All right. Before this gets off the rails any further, I got one more ad read to go before we head to our final segment. And that's hey
Which
guys,
is
did
the
you guys
Sidney
know
Crosby trade? It's up there. That's...
okay, fine.
You
We'll
gotta
do that.
it.
Whatever. I'm covering you for a second. We're gonna talk about merch.
Sidney
what better way
Crosby,
to
Cody
support-
Cece, 1-for-1.
Oh my God. Let me do my ad read. Fuck. What better way to support something you love than by repping it on yourself? Game Over's apparel line has dropped with 3 unique lines. Whether you feel the nostalgic pull of our retro skater design, want to make a statement with our established design, want to wear your love for goalies proudly with our live and die by the goalie design, or if you just need another coffee and a toque to get through the winter, we have you covered. I forgot to breathe in the middle of that sentence. Designed by Brady from Game Over Winnipeg, use a QR code on stream now and take a look through our apparel store and help us rebuild local sports media in Canada while repping your community. I personally have purchased the goalie hoodie and the skater hoodie. They are both great, but if you want to order something, I recommend ordering in a size up if you're going to do it, because who wants a hoodie that's tight? I'd order a size up. It's a little bit on the smaller side, so if you want to have some nice, comfy loungewear, give it an order on a size up. So,
okay,
I think it'd be a fun merchandising opportunity to have like because Game Over is across Canada, you'd have every team's own Sidney Crosby trade. So like Crosby for CC 1-for-1,
we sell
or
T-shirts with Sidney Crosby mock trades to every Canadian city.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. Yeah,
so like Travis Hamonic and a sixth.
Well, who would it be on Ottawa?
Oh, it's CC. It's always CC. Even once he's got it, CC.
Cody CC still plays for the Ottawa Senators?
No, but in spirit.
Oh, okay. So the Senators trade for Cody CC and then trade CC for Crosby.
It's a 3-team trade.
I don't want to ruin this segment immediately, but like it's been very clearly reported that Crosby isn't being traded.
I mean, who said that though?
Chris Johnson.
The media?
Chris Johnson?
Stin.
My dad works for Nintendo, Chris Johnson? I don't know if I buy that. Oh, John Stern. Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that
like
guy's
the TSN legit. Guy who follows me on Twitter. We used to be co-workers at a different network, technically.
But he is but one man.
Yeah.
And is a man truly knowable? I ask you this.
Did you say knowable?
Where's his source from?
Where's his source?
And like,
buddy,
honestly,
dude, he's media in Toronto. You think he doesn't have Kyle Dubas's number?
Yeah, and I'm Matt in Ottawa, and I have my heart in it.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Here's the thing, though. You're Kyle Johnson, Chris Johnston. So Kyle, what's his name? Bloody.
You're human male Kyle Johnson.
Where's this going, dude? Who's?
I'll tell you where it's going. Imagine right now, you're Kyle, what's his name? You're the GM
Imagine
for the
Dragons.
Pittsburgh Penguins.
Kyle Dubas.
You also play in Imagine Dragons. Kyle Dubas, lead singer of Imagine Dragons, and the manager of the Pittsburgh Penguins. I text you, hey, is Sidney Crosby going to be traded? Do you answer truthfully?
I don't think that's how insiders ask it. I think what happened is Kyle Dubas has said that Sidney Crosby is untouchable. I think you need to stop
moving the goalposts and answer the damn question. Do you truthfully go, yeah, no, we're trying to ship Crosby? Or do you be like, no, Crosby's like our boy forever. He's never going.
Kyle Dubas. You're tuning your guitar between shows. Do you have time to get away, go to your phone, think about an answer, or are you just going to fire off the thing that'll just kill the conversation?
Okay, so I know you don't want to hear this as a Caps fan. But Sidney Crosby is a human being who has choices he can make with a no move clause, and I think it's more likely than not he said, "No, I'm staying. I want to."
Okay, now, all right. In this scenario, you're Kyle Dubas. You've just finished a really nice pastrami deli sandwich. sourced perfectly. You get,
Pittsburgh local.
you get a phone call
As
from
Pittsburgh's known
Sidney
to have.
Crosby.
It's the Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
It's the Pittsburgh delicacy. It's the regional food of choice.
Yeah, well, you're having one of those disgusting chip salads they think is a real food. And Sidney Crosby calls you and he says, I really, really want to win another Stanley Cup. What do you say to him? He calls you, but you're texting him back because you need to eat your chip salad.
you leave him on red and think about it for an hour.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know why.
Picture this. You're Kyle Dubas. You're 7'2". You see a hoop.
Do you have a ball?
You have a Sidney Crosby. Do you fold him up, or do you look elsewhere?
Okay, just take this seriously. Kyle Dubas. Sonic the Hedgehog 3 has been re-released into the cinema. Do you take Sidney Crosby to go watch it?
Take him. He's been saying he wants to go, but you have other friends.
He wants to see Keanu Reeves. Well, he wants to hear him.
I was going to say he can't see. Yeah.
But okay, real question. Should he be traded? Whether or not he is going to be, should he be? Because I think, like, again, I'm supposed to hate him as a Caps fan, but, like, in all seriousness, he's being, like, this is one of the greatest hockey players of all time being fucking wasted. Like,
this isn't a fair comparison. It's the closest I have is, like, with Daniel Alfredsson in Ottawa, if you're just looking at it as, like, who's the most beloved player in franchise history, and, like, you can go back and forth between Crosby or Mario, like, depending on, you know, what era of Pens fan you are. If if you're someone who's our age and was, you know, like, how old were we? 9 years old when Crosby came into the league and when Mario retired, like, it's obvious which one you're kind of pulling for. So I'll just, like, try to look at it that way. Do you want what's best for your team, or do you want to see the greatest player in your franchise's history play for one team? Like,
yeah, like, I think there'd be a riot in Pittsburgh if he was traded, and I think at this point he's been there near 20 years. He's not going to want to go anywhere. I don't see it happening, quite frankly.
No, and it's like, yeah, like, it would have been, like, I want to be like, yeah, it would have been cool to see Alfie win a cup somewhere else. And I think the reason I have that thought is because he never won with Ottawa. Crosby has 3 cups with Pittsburgh. By all accounts, it sounds like he wants to retire a Penguin.
There's no need for him to, like, he doesn't need to take, like, a huge risk and knock to his public image. Maybe that's not quite right, but for him to gamble on a cup.
Yeah, but also
man's
imagine
accomplished
him
everything
playing
there
with
is to
McKinnon in
accomplish.
Colorado.
That'd be nuts.
That'd
be
just
nuts,
be better
but
for hockey. Okay, Charlie,
I don't see it.
you're Carl Dubas. Sidney Crosby has asked you for a trade. You have to now carefully explain to him why he doesn't.
Yeah, but also he has a
that.
no move, so he'd tell me exactly where he wants to go.
Yeah, and you have to tell him why he doesn't deserve it. How he's already have.
I don't think that's what. I know in this situation.
You
I'm
can't
Kyle
change
Dubas,
the parameters.
but I don't think Kyle
Kyle
Dubas would do
Dubas
that. I think Sidney Crosby says, "Hey Kyle, you're taller than I remember. I'd like to get traded to my childhood team of." That's the thing. Where's he going to go? Like, he could go to.
You want to get traded to the movie theater and see Sonic with me?
Yeah, like he could go to Colorado and play with Cole Harbor brother Nathan McKinnon. He could go to Montreal, which was his childhood team. I don't think he'd want to do that right now. I just don't.
Can
see
you
how
imagine
it's
if
gonna
they
work.
traded him for Larzella? They swapped back. Third line Sidney Crosby for the Caps.
I get the stats pulled up right now. Lars Eller, third in games played among his fourth in games played among the 2007 draft class.
That's pretty impressive.
Honestly, Larzell is nothing to sleep on. He's a very solid journeyman.
Yeah, he's behind only Patrick Kane, Jamie Benn, and David Perreault.
That's a nice list to be a part of.
That's a good draft class. As per usual, I'm not saying anything important, but
I like your stats. Those are some fun and interesting facts.
Hey, where do you think Jim O'Brien lands on that list?
Let me
Matt,
see.
I think
Ottawa Senators first round pick Jim O'Brien.
Eller was drafted right before Shattenkirk, I believe, or 1 or 2 picks before Shattenkirk. Let's see. Jim O'Brien. There he is. 77 games between Linus Omark and Michael Repick. Nick Palmieri, hey! Nick Palmieri only played 87 games.
Okay, so for everyone watching and listening and all that fun stuff, this is just kind of like when Matt and I hang out, we just like pull up a random draft class or like a random European team and see what names we recognize. And now Matt's just gone full find name I know from 2007.
Yeah. Akeem Aliu's here.
We love him.
We do love him. Jim O'Brien, not the greatest career, but
I had very high hopes for him.
We all had high hopes. You can't knock his season with the Seattle Thunderbirds. Can't knock it.
I'm completely unfamiliar with everything you were talking
right.
about. I'm gonna go on my phone.
All right. Well, maybe that's where we wrap it up. Hey guys, guess what? I said I needed a short episode tonight. We went an hour 10. So
I'm texting.
I'm gonna call it a show here, fellas.
Imagine you're texting Kyle Dubas.
Yeah.
Sidney Crosby.
He's asking me about Sidney Crosby. Sam? It's me, Kyle Dubas. You're also Kyle Dubas.
Into all the Dubas first.
I gotta wrap this up, fellas. It's just gonna go nowhere even further. All right.
Charlie, you are Carl Dubas. You're in a room with 90 other Carl Dubases.
You put your hand in the mirror, Dubas.
Yeah.
Picture this: you're Kyle Dubas. You have to go to bed because you have to go to your office job tomorrow.
And that job is managing the Pittsburgh Penguins. No, are you kidding me? After this season, I don't think he's allowed to. And he's got one of those like Shakti beds with all the needles poking into his spine.
What is that accomplish?
Dubas, you're stuck in traffic.
It keeps him in pain because he understands that this is not good, and it's the only way he can like make up for his sins in real time.
Do you think him and Pierre Dorian are going to hang out when he's fired?
Picture this: you're Carl Dubois. You're hanging out with Pierre Dorian.
Sidney Crosby asks for a trade.
Yeah,
Pierre asks, "Is he a high character guy?"
You're watching Sonic 3 with Pierre. Sidney Crosby enters.
Pierre won't shut up.
Yeah, he's been talking through the whole movie. Sidney Crosby enters. He's got a jumbo bucket of popcorn. It's the Pierre Dorian shadows on the moon.
Every time there's a new character, Pierre Dorian asks if that's silver. It's not. Silver will be silver, you say.
Every human character goes, "Who's this then?"
I don't remember for him.
This is how it goes. This is how Pierre goes. Is that Silver? No. Oh, who's that? That's Tails. Is he a low character guy?
Good in the room.
Every single character.
Is he a good locker room dude?
Yeah.
He's a rodent.
Like Mashand. All right.
Well, thanks for watching Game Over Ottawa.
You're Carl Dubois. You're ending Game Over Ottawa.
Sidney Crosby is in one of the squares.
Thanks for watching Game Over Ottawa. Be sure to check out future episodes and all the other Game Over Network shows. They aren't all like this one.
Some of them don't have Carl Dubois in them.
Unless you subscribe to the Patreon.
Sam, you keep saying Kyle Dubois.
You do keep saying like
it's an accent thing, and if you point it out, you're actually racist.
Okay.
Picture this: you're Kyle Dubois. Your son is Pierre-Luc.
Fucking what's his name? Dubas. That's
Dubas.
Whatever.
He's
you had it right initially, but the more you said it, the further you got away from it.
Dude,
good night, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.
Good night. Lots of love.
You know what? I should be a good co-host and tee up the next show. Who's hosting Blackhawks? It's Maude and Mike. Tune in Wednesday night, 7:30. Sens, Blackhawks, Maude, Mike, Connor Bedard guesting. Probably not. I don't think so.
Kyle Dubas is going to be on though.
Kyle Dubas will be on the show again. Picture this: you're Kyle Dubas.
You get an invite from Game Over Ottawa.
You've taken over Connor Bedard's slot.
You don't read the email. You delete it.
Picture this: you're Kyle Dubas. There's an injury. You have to go on the power play. They need you out there, Kyle.
Can we get every
Carlson
single
and Chris Letang? You better fucking believe there's an injury.
Erik Karlsson and Kyle Dubas.
Can we get every single Game Over Ottawa fan to harass Kyle Dubas into appearing on the show?
Hear that, Kyle? You're about to get 6 emails, motherfucker.
Strongly worded, though.
Strongly worded. No, thank you everyone for watching Game Over Ottawa. Really appreciate it on a Monday night after a loss. Especially appreciate you tuning in. Matt, Sam, thank you so much for coming on the show. It's always a blast. It's always twice as long as we planned for it to be.
That's the promise.
This is the way it goes. We'll see you on Wednesday with Maude and Mike. Go Sens go. I'm sorry I didn't hit the Sens button, but maybe they'll get to against another bottom feeder team. God, they better fucking win that game. Good night, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. See ya.